Yes, you're welcome again to this second part of our lecture. In the previous lecture, I gave you an introduction about graphical user interfaces, and now we're going to dive into a demonstration of how we use graphical user interface development in MATLAB. I said previously that there are three ways that you can do uh, app development in MATLAB. You can use AppDesigner, you can also use Guide, or you use MATLAB functions for you to create applications. So each way is quite different from any other way. So if you're interested, you can explore all the three. But for this lecture, we are going to look at using AppDesigner. So the first thing you need to do is to have your MATLAB software open, and the command window we type the command app designer. You will notice that it is one word, so it don't separate the two words app and designer. They are not separated, it's actually one word. So it is app designer as one word, so that avoids unnecessary errors of just typing separate words of app and designer. It is one word, app designer. So once you do that, at the command window, you have typed your word, your command app designer, then strike enter. So when you strike enter, a screen will come up. This is a welcome screen or a home screen for developing graphical user interfaces. We have I have this section here where I have recent apps that I've worked on this my PC. I can open those apps that I've already developed. That means if you have already developed an app, you can be able to open it and maybe edit, add a few things, or change a number of things. You can do that by just clicking on open, and then you find where your app is. And remember, whenever you're creating applications in MATLAB, they have the extension as .ml app. Okay, so as you look at this example here, it's addition app.mlapp, which is a MATLAB application. So it has an extension as .ml app. You need to understand that. So whenever you're opening or saving your files, they should have that, and you should have that in mind, that you should be able to do um, okay. So you're able to get your files. So I already have these files that I've developed on my machine. You can check uh, out examples online. Then I have this other window here where we have the new blank applications, and you have a 2-panel app and then a 3-panel app. You can design these. But also you can be able to get examples. There are example tutorials that you can go through how to develop applications here. They have MATLAB already has some examples for you to check out. You can do get it started here. You can do guide migration strategies. You can look at display graphics in App Designer and releases, so you can be able to check out that. But for now, we want to start a new application, so I'll just come up the blank app and select that. So when you select that, you come to this window here, and this window here, very important to understand, to always open in the design view. So you have the design view and the canvas view. So the design view is where you're going to be able to uh, design your application. Then you can be able to go through this menu, be able to save, know the details of your app, share the app, and then you can be able to run the app here. But something you need to understand is this app has sections on the window. We have the window on the left side here that has components. So it's called the component library, where you have common components. These are common components like axes, buttons, checkboxes. Remember, we talked about these in our previous lecture, mentioned them and talked about them being grouped together and something like that. The drop down, edit field, and many others. Okay, so those are common components. So when I scroll down, I have a section of containers. Here we talked about previously, you have the panel, you have a grid view, and then the tab group. We'll be looking at how we can be able to use all these in our examples. Then we have the figure tools. If you want to do the context menu, the menu bar, and the toolbar, these are called figure tools. And we have the instrumentation components. These ones are include this the 90-degree gauge, the knob, and many others. Many others. We'll look at how to use those. We have the aerospace uh, tools, maybe an airspeed indicator, an altimeter. You have artificial horizon, and many others, as you can see them here. So as you want to, whatever you want to develop, you are able to see what you want to do, um, looking at which component you want to use. So the number of components can be able to, so you can check, there's this details view, and there is, when you look at the details view, you can be able to look at them and the details. You just click on the details here to give you the details um, on those components as listed up here. Okay, so you can go back to the icon view, and then you see them as icons. Then we have this central part here, the white part here is called the white area, and in this white area is where we drop our components as we would want them to be put somewhere here. So at this component here, we have two tabs. We have the tab for the design view, and we have the tab for code view. Okay, so when I click on design view, have the design view, then the code view, it gives you a structure of how your code will be structured. So it generates an automatic code which is actually not editable. It provides the design of the template that you're going to use to develop your application. And when you look at this, it will be able to show you how it is displayed here in the app layout. And there are a number of things that you'll be able to look at later. Callbacks, I will be looking at callbacks later. We talked about functions, and then have properties. They're all displayed there in the code browser area. Then we have, if I went back to the code view, we have the component browser area. Whenever you open up a MATLAB application in AppDesigner, the first thing it will do is for you to create for you the app. So this app is called app 1. because I've not saved it yet, given it a name, so to be called app1. But app1 has a user interface figure, which is an object app that we are using to call the figure UI. So we're going to be using this figure here. That's where we're going to be working. That's why when I click on it, to be able to show that that is our app. Okay. So whenever I click on that, that means it will select this area here where our figures and our components are going to be added. So whenever you click on the figure, then properties there that you can change. Remember, you have the area for the inspector, and then you have also the callbacks. So the number of callback functions that will be displayed, that you'll be able to see if you're using them here. If like close request or button down function and many others, as you can be able to do them. But for now, we are looking at having something quite very different. Okay, so okay, so I was saying that we have the component browser here, but this is talking about every component that you have on. You just click on the component and it will show you the details about that component and be able to see a number of things on that component. But now these properties here that are shown, they are all about our component area here. We're going to put our components. Okay, so that being said, let's just try an example. We're going to develop a simple program that can add up two numbers and display the result. We want to just develop a simple program that can add up two numbers and then be able to give us a result. Okay, so I'm going to drag two input text, but realize that we have two edit fields. We have edit field, which is text, and edit field, which is numeric. Okay, so if you want to input text, you use the text. Like if you want to write an application that asks for the name, course, and all that stuff, that includes only text. But if you want to do numbers, then you use the numeric edit field. Okay, so I'm going to drag that, but before I drag this, I want them to be put on a panel. So we say that panels help us to group components. These are grouping components, they are containers. You can do a grid which can arrange components in a grid, the specified size behavior, and this one can just group components together and have all that. So I can just drag this and put it here. Okay, so and then I'm able to um, resize this. I can resize my panel to the size that I want. Okay, maybe I put size it in the center it. Then I'm going to drag my components one by one. Remember, when I get this panel, I can change my title of the panel, and I can call this application to add numbers. So when I change in the property the component in the component browser here, and I click OK, you realize that the word here will change because I've changed the title here. I can also be able maybe to center or put it on the right or put it on the left. That's why you want your title to be positioned. Let me put it in the center. I can also change the color, maybe the foreground color to be orange, and then maybe the background color I can do that to be black. Okay, you can see that, but let me just make it gray. Okay, so the background color for the component will be gray, and then I can just change again I can change this to, let me see if I can do white. That be okay. Let me take it back to orange, and I can just change the font size maybe to 24. Okay, so then I can also change the font name and many other details. I make it bold. I put an italic, whatever I would want to do on your file. So you can be able to edit as you would want. So any editing that you add will be good. So if I try to run, I'll need to give it a name, but by default to give it app1.ml app. But I'll just change this to add to numbers. Add to numbers. Okay. So once I have this, I can save. Remember, you save it where your files are. This is where my files are stored, in this folder 2023 codes, and I just add it there. So after that, I'll have it run, and this will be my output. Okay, so this is my output, and I just want to use this, so I can close this, and probably just make it a little bigger, so that it all fits. Okay, such that it all fits. I can do that. It fills up the entire area. So when I run it again, it should give me something like that. Okay, so that is what I've done so far. Much is not yet added, but this is static text that I've just added, which does not move, which I just added as a title. So I'm going to come back here and then add, say I would want to add, an edit field, but which is numeric. So I'll just drop this one here, can decide where to drop it, maybe in the middle, maybe here. Let me drop it in the middle here. And then I'm going to check. You click on the part here to change the text. So I'm going to come and change my text. Say maybe enter number 1. So I can be able to change details on this. I would also want it to be centered. I would want to have many other things. Maybe the font to be a little bigger. I can make this to be maybe 16. Okay. But remember, whenever I have this component here in our component browser, the application is called AddNumbers, and it has the UI figure, which is UI app.UI figure, which means that everything is going to be on the UI figure. And we have added a title here, which is app. This, which is a panel that we created. Okay, and then we have one edit field that we have added. Is called app.enter number 1 edit field. So we can add a second edit field, which is also numeric. So every time you're placing it, it will show you where to place, and of course to resize, and also be able to arrange and position it in the right position that you want it to be. So I would want it to be there, and I would want to change the text as well to enter number 2. Enter number 2. Enter number 2. Okay, so I will have that, but also I would want it to be on the same line with this. And change the star. I can be able to change its label. Is enter number 2, and then I can also be able to change I want to center it. I also want to change the size. Can I say 16? Did we make this one 16? Yep. So can also make this one 16. You can move it there. Okay, so we have two numbers, two edit fields, one for to enter number 1, another one to enter number 2, and then we can be able to add a button that once we click on that button, we are able to get our results. So I'm going to drag a button, and let me just put the button here. And my button will be named as add, and I can make it also center. I would want the font to be 16. You can also change the colors as you would wish, but I'm going to leave mine that way. But also I would want it to get me where I want to display the results. So I'm going to come and add one edit field. I'll add one edit field here, and I'll call this edit field result. Okay, but I can also change its properties. I'm able to change, you can change the property of the entire component or just part of the component. So just want to change the property here. I said this one should have 16 also. Okay. Okay, so we would want, when we put in number 1 and number 2 and click add, it should be able to give us a result here. So I'll run to see how our application looks like, and boom, this is how it will look like. It means I can be able to add button here. Sorry, I can be able to click here and then put in. Whenever I put in maybe 10, I put in 20, and when I click add, it should be able to give me the sum of 10 and 20, which is not done here. So that takes us to the next part, and the next part is going to help. The next part is going to help us do the coding. So I'll pause this, and I will come to, I would want, when I put in number 1 and I put in number 2, and when I click this, it should give me the results. That means the event handling is going to be here. So I'm going to click on this. Okay, so I'm going to right click. You come and right click on this button. So I right click, and then it gives you a drop down menu. We have the help, have the context, we have the callback. So we're going to add a callback. So callbacks, add button pushed FCN callback. Select that. So it will take you where these are. So you have up, then you have the button. But remember, here we have our text field properties we have here, and we're going to use those which are down here. So we'd want, when we have when we click the button, we would want to have number 1 added to number 2, and the result comes to number 3. So I'm going to come here and say up. Okay, this object here, dot result field, which is here. But I would want to have it dot with its value. So I would want it to get the value. So you say app.result result field, uh, which is your component dot value is assigned a value, an equal sign of app dot enter number one edit field dot value plus sorry my battery is running low plus app dot edit text field number two so this is label which I don't want. So I'm going to remove this. It's app dot a text field. This is 2, which is here, and then I terminate this line with a semicolon. But should have dot value. Dot value with a semicolon. Okay. So my battery is running low. Allow me to save this. Okay, so I'll run my I just come and run, and then I try to test 10, 20, and add. Boom, to give me the value 30. Okay, my battery is running down. We're going to add more examples. Let me first put my battery in power. Thank you. See you in the next session.